Hello, guys, and welcome. This is the season ender. That's right, we've reached the end of this thing. Episodes 169, that's 169, and 170, the final episodes of season 7, in an episode known as Shadow Play. Now, normally I talk about morals first, but here this week I am not. Because this episode finally brings about the return of Star Swirl the Bearded and every other member of the Legends of Magic comics. See how they're connected now? Yes, they totally are. And there's no getting between it either. Even though there are 3 Legends of Magic comics left, we know how the story ends via this episode. It ends essentially where the episode begins at. So, if you want a little bit of pretense, you have to go into comics and read them. Remember, it's the Legends of Magic comics specifically, if you're looking for the prequel stuff. Other than that, how's the episode? Well, the episode is grand in many ways. It ties up a lot of the season's plot points, but also makes reference to the last dozen or so episodes that have made up the final 13, especially the last 8 in particular. This ties it all together. The book found in the barrel was no doubt Star Swirl's final journal, depicting what looked like to be his final actions, sealing an evil force known as the Pony of Shadows alongside his other legendary brethren to save Equestria from its evil. Little did we know that the artifacts used to defeat the evil villain were also the artifacts needed to bring them back. My wife, Twilight, enthusiastic about, meeting her idol finally. She's pretty much like the rest of the audience at this point. Wants to gather up the pieces and bring the Legends of Magic back to Equestria proper, which she does, all referencing the episodes earlier. But remember, light and dark is a balance. When this action has occurred, she also releases the evil Pony of Shadows back. Devastated by her mistake and Star Swirl's lack of respect for her own skills, Twilight is looking for a way to bind the Pony of Shadows back to the world of Limbo. And ultimately, she comes up with one more spell of her own to bind the Pony of Shadows back to Limbo without sacrificing the elements of harmony or the Tree of Harmony, which we discover, as I theorized myself, along with David Owen, to be the forebears of the elements themselves. Looks like my theory was dead on correct. And also my theory about essentially the Tree of Harmony being the Zeo crystal is also confirmed. You can go back and watch that one in the old Sparks of Thought playlist, which, don't worry, that will be making a grand comeback in between season 7 and 8. And so I've definitely got more theories on where this series could go for me. So naturally, you would think this is the perfect 6 out of 6 finale and all. The Legends of Magic are perfectly characterized. Star Swirl is arrogant yet wise. And all the characters get their show here. Plus, with all the returns of all the lands this season, it's a nice set of callback, but all the bringbacks are quick and easy and out of the way. And also the short flashback seeing the sirens properly canonized to give the Pony of Shadows backstory that you can read in the Legends of Magic comics, starting with the most recent. Do that. It's much better and more detailed than this, are a nice touch. However, the problem with this episode is pacing. The first part goes amazingly the perfect pace. Things start happening, but not at a quick enough clip to worry. Part 2 goes with the same pace, but not so much with payoff. You see, naturally we knew the Pony of Shadows was going to get redemption. After all, that's how this series works. Friendship is magic and all. But the fact of a pony of this much power supposedly not doing so many dark things might be the downer to some. He's not taking over kingdoms like the Storm King in the movie, or shrouding in eternal night, or trying to take over kingdoms with massive armies. He's just there plotting, which is the biggest problem with this episode. The villain is mentioned, his power is mentioned, but he just sits there and plots the whole time. No dark shadows over the kingdom, no shadowy figures or shadow army, no a luminous fog like Myotismon and Digimon. None of the things that tell you that this thing is truly a threat. He's just sitting there as the good guys are literally building the spells and getting the equipment to pound him into what looks like bounded submission, just like all the other super bads like Tyrek. But instead, leave it to friendship and leave it to my waifu to once again prove words do greater healing than any punch can. As the Shadow Force is bound into eternal limbo while its host, Stygian, is released back into the free world and might be given the respect they deserve. The Legends of Magic are back alive, unaged, and everything is resolved. It's nice to see Celestia and Luna given time to reunite with their teacher, which is a nice, beautiful touch, and the resolution and moral about, well, one, never giving up on a friend and saying that there is no bad person that is irredeemable, that the path of total evil is not possible is a good moral for kids and a good moral for the world in general. We are all not born evil. We all choose to be evil. Pride can sometimes get in the way, but pride is a good thing if used properly. But pride for the sake of ill redemption is not. Which is pretty much the overarching moral not only of this episode, but if you really think back through the 170 we've had so far, the entire series, that as long as we, keep an open heart and don't believe in total darkness, but have the strength to maintain the balance of our own inner lights, we can all be successful. We can all find that middle ground, that inner harmony that makes everything work out, no matter how bad it is. The moral and the legends of magic's presence makes this a strong one. Plus all the funny moments for Twilight in the first half and Starlight's character growth, as well as the conclusions of this season's many arcs, make the last few episodes and essentially the entire back 13 of this season an absolute treat. However, the lack of villain presence or true evil is where this episode is hurt. Even Sombra did more evil things to cause a sense of dread, and Tierig did, and Chrysalis did, and even Nightmare Moon did. But this guy didn't do it. And if he did do it, this episode would have easily gotten a 6 without even a flinch. But without that lack of a truly awe-inspiring, omnipresent bad, this episode, unfortunately, Shadowplay gets a 5 out of 6. But everything else, from the Legends of Magic themselves to the callbacks, the Tree of Harmony, its creation, the link to old school elements, the sirens, the basic story of Stygian, although quickly retold, great jokes, and finally the payoff of meeting Starswirl the Bearded is enough to carry this episode. Its pacing might be all over the place, but much like Twilight, the lore and stuff to learn is too much to resist. And with that, Season 7, and thus 7th Heaven, is almost over because we got our top 10 to discuss, which that will come in just 2 weeks' time, as I will take some additional time to think of what episodes this season I will choose as the winners, but although by the scores you should know. So down in the comment section below, tell me what you thought of Shadowplay, and are you happy now that the comics are now officially, and thus Equestria Girls as well, canon? What are your thoughts on all these things, and what could all these neat characters and things lead to in terms of Season 8 that is being referred to here at the New 26 as Vigilante 8. Hopefully the hiatus won't be too long until next week, probably with pony panels and a Catic review or two. I'm Nirvana Sparkle. Find peace in your own Nirvana. Thanks for watching. If you missed any of the New 26 this season, there will be a link to to the playlist here for you to catch up before the top 10. It is an absolute blast to do this show. It is a pleasure and honor. And to see this show even continue to grow 7 years after the fact, and me getting ready for year 4 of me doing this, I could not be more proud to be a Brony. This season may have started slow, but it rebounded epically. Let's hope it continues in season 8. But we've still got work to do right here.